Alrighty, this one here, it's a 1999. It's actually a steak body 3500, I think. But it's just a Chevy Vortec 5.7. And what I have is a MISFIRE. And even when it's running, I kind of got some stuff tore apart here. This won't be a super long video, but I've been kind of busy, so put that air cleaner back on so you could hear it. Alright, I'm kind of causing my own problems here with having it apart. It's pulling air that the mass airflow is not seeing, but if I can get to my previous vehicles here. So I'm not set up quite yet, but if I go to my codes, now I might have set a couple. But we're gonna go with what's turning the check engine light on. And it's actually a system lean code. So, but I hear a distinct miss, and the history behind this, I'm not gonna get in real deep with waveforms for secondary ignition, because the tune-up was done on this car probably about a month ago, and my preliminary checks are good. I have no difference in my KV or my spark time between any of the cylinders, and a compression test was run on this car, or this truck, probably a couple months ago before we sold them the tune-up. They're like kind of on the fence whether they keep this thing or not, so they're just continuing to spend money. But now I have this system lean code, and it does have a distinct miss. But because of the MISFIRE, like I said, I went with a secondary ignition, and then we started going towards fuel just because of the system lean. And if I go to my data display, there is actually a MISFIRE component on this, and I can go down and I can see that number 5 is the one missing. So like I said, I concentrated on a spark end. I don't see anything wrong there. So we're now down to the fuel, and I'll show you what I found. So what I'm going to do here is we're actually going to do a special functional test, because I don't think the number 5 injector is firing right. So we can actually do an injector balance. This is just key on, engine off. So turn the car off, and I'm going to instrument a couple things. Alright, so to look at my wiring diagram here, you can see they all share a power, and then the computer grounds them individually. So number 5 is going to be this one here, have a black white wire as my control side going back to the PCM. So I have my old Vantage hooked up, and I put the snorkel back on, but you lift it up, I actually have my wire back probing that black white wire for cylinder 5. So to keep it running, I got to put this back down on there, and I think the key's already on. So right now on my waveform viewer scale, alright, so I have that back probe hooked up to ground. I'm showing no voltage. If I turn the key on, you can see I have, hey man, I'm making a video. You want to be in my video? I'm making a video. I make videos on YouTube. This is Keith, Masel's Auto Body. One of the best body shops in Bethel Park. I'll give you a plug.
What's he talking to?
I make
over here?
I make YouTube videos, man. I got like a couple of them.
Do you?
Couple subscribers.
On how to do, how to fix
to
this
do
shit.
stuff, yeah. What you need? Wiring diagram.
No. I need a thing.
A tap?
Yeah.
Alright, sorry about that. But anyway, now I have a big seam running through there. So with the key on my waveform viewer, I think it's a 50 volt scale. You can see I'm showing 12 volts. So that to me is a quick and dirty. The circuit through the injector is good. It probably would set an injector circuit anyway code. So I'm going to start it up and we'll see if we have computer control. Alright, start the truck up. Still have my MISFIRE, and you can see that maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6.5 millisecond pulse width on the ground side on the injector on time. That seems a little bit low, I mean a little bit high for idle. So I'm going to go to the other bank just for the heck of it. I'm on number 5, so 1, 3, 5, and 7 are on one bank, and I had a system lean bank 1. We'll go to either 2, 4, 6, or 8 on bank 2 and see if my pulse width is different on that side. I'm at like 6 or 7 there, so we'll try that. Alright, so I think I'm on cylinder number 2 now. And you can see I'm at 1, 2, maybe 4. It's moving around a little bit, so it did cut it down a millisecond or 2. So there's another sign of the lean on that side. So probably the whole bank is going to be higher like that, but I'm just concentrating on the one that I know. So I'm going to go back to cylinder 5 and we're going to do the cylinder contribution test. Alright, so the key's on. I have a fuel pressure gauge set up showing, 55 pounds or whatever. Let me zoom out of here a little bit so you can see where I'm at. Get that set up to where you can see it. And you can see my fuel pressure gauge in the bottom there, about 55 pounds. So I'm going to energize. I can only do this once per ignition cycle because you will fill the cylinder up and hydraulic the engine really, so you don't want to do that. So I'm going to go over to the scan tool, and I have, if you can see that there, but I do have an injector balance tool I can use. So I'm going to go to number 5. I'm going to turn it on, and you're going to see right as the light turns off. Once I do that, it energizes the fuel pump to make sure the pressure is higher. So I'm at like 58 now, and I'll energize it. You can see the computer is energizing it, and the fuel gauge didn't drop. It only does it for a couple seconds. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go down. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to pick another cylinder. Turn the pump back on. We'll try number 1. Turn the pump on, turn it off, and we'll do number 1. And you can see the fuel gauge dropped to 48. So everything's working the way it should as far as my diagnostic equipment. And you saw, of course, I didn't have number 1 instrumented, so you did not see any computer control, but we saw the fuel gauge drop. So I'll try that one more time on another cylinder, just in case I didn't have that in the window. So go to my injector balance again. I can only do one at a time, so I'll go to, we'll try number 2. Energize the pump. You can see it went to 58 again. Now I'm going to do number 2, and you can see it dropped 10 pounds. So I have a problem definitely with injector number 5. So I actually think you can hear it clicking with whenever it gets energized. So my guess is the pop is probably clogged. But we got to pull this whole thing apart anyway, and with the mileage on this car, I think we're just going to throw the whole injector assembly in it. So we'll go from there. So the key's on. I'm just going to zoom in on here. I'm just going to pick any random injector. We're going to go with number 3. Turns the pump on. Now when I energize it, I'll do it right now. Hopefully you heard that. That was number 3 going off. So I'm now going to go to number 5, and I can hear it. It makes the same noise. So let's go back to number 5. Okay, energize the fuel pump. Now I'm going to zoom in on that and hit yes to energize number 5. And you hear it. I can hear the injector. The pintle hump thing I think I saw kind of confirmed that the injector is opening. So we'll pull it apart and see. I know this generation has 8 injectors. Each one has its own poppet valve. It's been so long since I've been in them. I don't know. We might just do, like I said, the whole injector assembly because of the mileage of this thing and how beat it gets. For me to tear all that apart and just do one injector, I don't know if it's really worth it. So customer's on board with it, so we'll pull it apart and see what we got. Check it out. Say hi, Clark. Come on, man, you could say something nasty. I don't care. Okay, well, don't say anything. But
I was told Joe pays me.
You have to be nice to me.
I have to be nice to you.
I'm just saying, though, nothing would get done around here if you didn't finish all my work.
I know that.
So you're tearing it apart. I just took up a couple meters and became the hero.
I gotta be nice to
you.
And
then you finish it and I take all the credit, right?
I gotta be nice to you. Joe told me I had to be nice to you.
Man, you're not gonna give me nothing. Man.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Joe paid me to be nice to you. Hey, look, I want to say something.
Oh, the van. No, see, Joe he said don't. A shuttle bus. Nice.
Read the whole thing.
No, that's too long.
No. Joe told me I asked you not to play, Joe.
Well, I wasn't expecting to see that. I've never had this style of part before. So there's the bulk plug that sticks through the intake with the inlet and outlet of the fuel. And then looks like the injector, they're at the end of the line where the other ones had a central injector and just 8 poppet lines with a 50 psi spring pressure or whatever. I'm not sure if these still have that same design or not, if anyone knows. Let me know. But it just looks like an injector that has a central manifold assembly. Not sure, but all I know is mine clicks but doesn't spray. So
we're taking a guess.
Well, like you said, you could probably change just one, but all this stuff plastic, man, you know me and plastic.
Yeah.
We don't
Big
mix.
stock and flat.
Yep. So I'm glad the customer just wanted to do it. Because we do one and tomorrow the next one quits. Oh, you don't even have it off yet.
No. I asked you to quit playing Johnny today.
Alright, I'll come back and bother you later.
No, just go run away.
Okay, here I go.
Don't come back. Don't do it.
So evidently this is an updated model. So I don't know if it has any kind of poppet at all in there, Nick. They put the injectors at the end of the plastic line, the original style, which is what I was picturing. You have all the injectors built into this housing with a little plastic tube and like a poppet blow-off valve at the end that doesn't open under 50 psi. I've seen a lot of these with low fuel pressure right around the 50 mark with performance problems, and they run at like 55 to 58. So new to me. Guess we'll give it a shot. I just want to get a picture of the new injector assembly updated version. I don't know, we'll see. So you got to make sure that the electrical connectors are facing inward so you don't interfere with the upper plenum. And then you have to cross number 4 over number 2 and then 5 over number 7 because of the way they line up, or else you'll kink these. So that's what the new one looks like in there. Get it back together and make sure it runs right. I guess for ending purposes I gotta show it running good. And now it runs good, right Clark? Runs good? So I'm not gonna bore you with any instrumentation because it's not misfiring anymore. So there you go. I'll tear the other one apart just for the heck of it and see what the old style looks like. And then I'll be done. Or we as a collective team will be done. Alright, well I tore this thing apart, cut into it a little bit to see if I could see anything, and unfortunately I can't really see anything. But there's a plate that bolts onto the back of the injector unit, and if you take the two nuts off in the plate you can get a little punch and put it in that hole and actually tap the injectors out. So I took number 5 and one of the other ones out, but I just you can just tap out the injector and it comes with the O-ring and the poppet valve. So I actually cut into the poppet line because it's like press fit on there, so I just cut it off, and I have them in the bench. That one's number 5, that's just a different cylinder. And like I said, I just cut it off so I could blow through here with shop air, and it just lifts the pintle on it. And unfortunately you're dealing with 50 pounds of pressure on the vehicle, and I have 120 shop air and I didn't regulate anything. So, and if I blow through there, you can, I don't know if you can see it, but it's just lifting the needle out of the seat. And when I didn't cut the end off of number 5, but when I did the same thing, it blew gas out of it. So doing the same thing, kind of a waste of time, but I was curious myself. And the injectors do flow. I just put a piece of vacuum tube on there, and if I just blow into it and I energize it, you can hear it's flowing. Same thing, it sounds the same as the other one I did. So the only thing I could think of is this plastic tube, or in the end of this, you know, poppet valve was just packed full of dirt, and 50 pounds of pressure wasn't enough to overcome it, and 125 was. So, you know, that's all I really know. But like I said before, the truck's running smooth, so we can call it fixed. Thanks for watching.